Hello, in this demonstration we'll have a look at Aria Operations and how we can use it for monitoring databases that have been provisioned by VMware Data Services Manager. We will need the management packs. There's one for Postgres, there's also one for MySQL. In this case we'll focus on the Postgres one. Now rather than using a privileged user to monitor the statistics and so on from the databases, we do have documentation that I'm showing you here on how to set up a least privileged user, but also the entries that you need to make in the Postgres configuration file to allow query tracking and so on to take place. We'll open a shell to the database VM shortly, and I'll show you a lot of these configurations that are in place. And included to create that least privileged user, you can see here that we have a script available to do that. So I'm just going to log on to the virtual machine where we're running our Postgres database, and we're going to navigate to the location where the configuration files are located. So in this location, you can see that we have a pghba.conf, which controls the access. And we also have the PostgreSQL.conf here as well. And this is where we would put all of the tracking requirements that we want for Aria Operations, as well as the statements that we saw there in the documentation previously. So the database engine is actually a service which you can stop or start. And indeed, in our case, we'll restart it after making those changes, and that will pick up all the tracking requirements that we have in place. So let's check the status, make sure that the database engine did restart. That looks pretty good, but we can verify by looking at the PostgreSQL log as well, just to make doubly sure that everything is good. And it looks like, yeah, the database is ready to accept connections. All good. So let's flip over to our Data Services Manager portal now. You can see I have a bunch of databases here already. I've already configured the simple Postgres database for monitoring, but we're going to add a second one now just to show you the steps involved. So I'm logging into vRealize Operations or Aria Operations, and you can see here that we have some integrations already in place. If I look at my repository for integrations, you can see I have the True Visibility Mgmt Pack for Postgres and also the True Visibility Mgmt Pack for SQL. And I have an account created already, meaning I'm already monitoring one of each type of database. But what I want to do now is go and monitor a new Postgres SQL database, and that's just adding another account. So we just give it a name. I'll just call it DemoDB1, like so. You give it a IP address or a host name to connect to the database. Port, that's the normal port for connecting to PostgreSQL. The database is the DBAAS database that's always provisioned by DSM. You could change that from the default if you wish. And then we're going to create a credential. And assuming I've gone through all of the documentation and set up a least privileged user, I can use that particular user for connecting. One thing to bear in mind, if you want to monitor tables, by default that's disabled, so just turn that on. Validate your connection. If all that is good, we can add that new account, and now I have two PostgreSQL databases that are being monitored, my original simple database and my new DemoDB. It's got a warning because it hasn't collected enough statistics yet, but that will come. That'll come okay once we've got enough statistics gathered. And then I have some built-in dashboards. So you can see I have a PostgreSQL overview, the different databases, the different tables, functions, and so on. And again, there's even a more detailed view here. But of course, you can go ahead and build your own dashboards if you so wish. So thank you for watching.